Hello, today we're going to do a repair video for you to show you how to replace the foam surround on the newer style Advent speaker here that you'll see. This particular frame is the all metal frame Woofer. We sell a repair kit for this that installs just like the original you'll see here, just kind of showing you here by placing it on top. We also use the same repair kit for the original large Advent that was made prior to this one that has the Masonite frame on it, and the surround on this model is installed what we call reverse roll or inverted, and we'll show you how that one goes in a different video. Today we're going to concentrate on the metal frame Advent here, and we'll show you the cleaning of the cone and the frame as soon as we come back. Alright, so today we'll do the repair of the foam, or replacement of the foam edge around the, this is the newer style Advent speaker with the all metal frame. And you'll notice the old foam edge is kind of just broken away from the cone and the frame here all the way around. That's a pretty common problem that we see on these older Advent speakers. And we have the foam surround kit, you know, that goes with it, and special adhesive as well. So we'll show you how that works. And the first thing you want to do here is just get yourself a clean, you know, kind of a clean area to work, and you're going to make a bit of a mess here. So we'll just pull most of these foam pieces away like this off the cone. You'll see that they're rotted away, so that part's pretty straightforward for you. The cone on this is already kind of ready to go on the top for the installation of the foam. We'll just peel away the foam bits that are attached to the frame here by hand, like this. Just kind of set those aside. We'll clean those up later. Got a little bit of residue on the cone here. Just kind of take your fingers and peel that away, as you can see there. The camera shows that. There's not much left on there. Most of this had already disassembled itself before it came into us for service. So that's kind of what you want on the cone at this point. Just kind of tap that off, get what's left of the old foam out of the cone area. And you'll notice here on these that they have a pretty heavy glue bond or glue bead that runs around the frame. Some are sloppier than others. They're usually all pretty heavy, as you can see here with this adhesive to attach the foam there. So what we'll do for the cleaning is, the first thing you want to have is a nice sharp utility knife with a retractable blade and a sharp blade insert in it like this, and just pick a point on the frame. Usually I'll start right where the lead wires are, and what you want to do is you want to come in here like this first and just kind of follow the angle of the frame with the tip of the blade, and just plan on working a few inches at a time on this. This is a little bit tedious and it gets a little bit messy. As you'll see, every time I kind of run the blade through, it goes a little bit deeper into the frame, and that's what you want there. Now it's all the way down to the edge. You can also come in like this with your blade and just cut the corner all the way out like this. And again, any residue that you have left over here, you can just kind of put to the side. The key is to just work slowly and take your time. Alright, so we'll continue working the frame like this, and you'll see I'm just kind of scraping down like this around the edge, following the angle of the basket right here with the blade. Alright, and then come in here, get a little bit more of this inside off, all the way around, and we'll just show you a little section of this, and then you'll have to take the time to work all the way around your frame here. We'll come in with the blade this way and cut right along like this, and you'll see that these pieces now with the adhesive and foam just kind of peel and break right off of the frame, and that's what you're after there. Just take your time with it. You see a little bit of extra residue on here. Just work the blade into the material. Take your time with it, be careful there. And what will happen is you'll have an area of the frame, once you're done, you kind of hear the blade scraping on the frame there. That's what you want. And right through this area here, where I'm working right in front of my blade tip, all the way around the frame, this is the goal, is to get it just down to that, and then we'll be ready for the installation of the new part. Alright, so we've done our frame cleaning all the way around, as we were showing you earlier in the video. Usually take a little bit of time with this. That's definitely the hard part of the repairs, is kind of the prep and getting everything clean, but this is what you want, nice and clean all the way around. The top of the cone is clean and ready to go, and you'll notice with our new part here, the new surround, okay, that it installs just like the original. I'll just kind of do a dry run here and show you what it looks like. We're just setting it in place right now. just to give you an idea of the fit and how it works, and you can kind of lift the cone up with your fingers from underneath and you'll see that. So what we'll want to do is we'll apply a bead of adhesive right to this lip on the cone all the way around like this, okay, and then we'll kind of smooth that out and we'll set the surround in place. So just gently squeeze your glue tip here. I like to usually use my finger as kind of a guide and run it right along the edge of the cone like this so that you get a nice even bead all the way around. Just squeeze evenly. You only need about 1/8 of an inch of adhesive right on this lip like this. That's what you want right there. Just set your glue aside, put the cap back on the glue. Now at this point, just take your fingertip and just lightly spread the adhesive evenly right on the flat lip of the cone. Okay, just like this. Alright, that's what you want. You want the adhesive spread evenly all the way around the cone, just like this. Now while it's still wet, we'll go ahead and grab our surround, set it in place. At this point, you're just eyeballing everything and centering everything by look, okay? I'm going to lift the cone up with one hand and just start to move the surround into place where the lip of the cone and the foam surround meet together right in this corner perfectly. And that's what you're after. You can pull the surround a little bit if you need to set it in place just like this. Alright, we'll spin the speaker just to show you the same idea again along the bottom of the cone. And you'll work the adhesive in. This will take about 15 minutes to 30 minutes to dry. And you'll see it starts to tack up for you, you know, pretty quickly. It gives you a little bit of time to work with it and allows you to make adjustments if you need to. And this is what we're doing here, is we're just kind of adjusting things. You can lift the cone up to meet the surround if you need to. Alright, so we're working the foam surround to the cone. The adhesive is still drying for us, and a lot of times it's helpful to use the tip of the utility knife to kind of work the foam down onto the cone just like this, or you can use a coffee stir stick or something like that. Just something small and flat is kind of helpful. If you don't want to get your fingers in place here, it makes it a little bit easier. Just kind of work it like a tool, and you can kind of pull and move the surround a little bit as needed. And once that sets up and dries thoroughly to the cone, we'll come back and do the frame. Alright, now that we've allowed the surround to dry thoroughly to the cone on the Advent speaker here, it's been about half an hour. We'll go ahead and show you how to glue the frame here. You see how the foam just kind of lifts up all the way around. So you can see the area of the frame right in here that we'll be applying our bead of adhesive to, right here on this flat portion of the frame, which is exactly where the surround or the foam rests in place. One thing I want to show you real fast is once the surround is glued to the cone, you'll notice that you can center the mechanism very easily by simply pressing down on the cone assembly like this. You'll notice if you kind of rock it back and forth or front to back here like this, that the surround moves in play or moves along the frame area here, which is normal. What you want to do is when you do your final gluing is make sure that it's not sitting one side or the other, and that's very easy to do because the surround is in place now supporting the cone as it's intended. So what we'll do is we'll just go ahead and kind of show you how to apply the glue here, how to center the cone assembly by simply pressing down and making sure that everything is centered properly, and this speaker will be ready to go back into the cabinet. So you'll take your bead of adhesive here, or your tube of adhesive, I'm sorry, and I like to start in an area where I can kind of see myself go one time around the cone, which is right here where the lead wires are on the cone. We'll just lift this up and just apply a nice even bead of adhesive here. Just let the tip of the glue ride right on the frame, as you can see, and just squeeze lightly. You don't need too much adhesive here so that you have a nice clean finish when you're done. And we've gone all the way around the frame one time, and that's what you want to do there. Cap your glue, set it back off to the side, and at this point I like to just kind of press down on the cone assembly. This will seat the outer edge of the foam into the adhesive that you've just applied to the frame, And you'll notice that I'm moving the cone here up and down. It's moving naturally, and it's centered almost automatically for us. So again, the key is when we do the final setup here, we don't want to move it too far in one direction or the other. We just want a nice straight up and down motion on the cone, and the adhesive is starting to set onto the frame and the foam at this point. Sometimes it's helpful to use the tip of your utility knife here while the adhesive is still wet. Just give it kind of a little press down into the foam. Helps to spread the adhesive, keeps things nice and clean on the repair. Just like this. You can also use coffee stirrer or something small and flat like that. A lot of times your fingers are too big to kind of fit in here, so it's nice to have something small that you can just kind of work the foam down into the cone like this, or down into the frame. So once this sets up or starts to set up, we'll just kind of keep working this back and forth until it's centered, and when we come back, we'll show you what that looks like when everything is dry and ready to go. Alright, so now we've done the surround attachment to the frame. As you can see here, we've let this dry up for about half an hour now, and you'll see that when you move the cone assembly, even when you pull up with your fingers underneath the cone here like this, that everything is nice and tight to the frame. We have a good seal all the way around, and that's what you're after there. You'll also notice that when we give a little pressure on any of the 4 points of the cone, that everything is centered properly and moving freely. We can even check that from beneath the cone by moving it upward here like this. And this large advent, or this new style advent woofer, is done and ready for installation back into the cabinet. You'll notice on the back side there's usually an indicator here of some sort for the positive connection, either an X on the frame, a sticker, or a little red mark. So pay attention to that when you reconnect into the cabinet, and you'll be all set. This one is ready to go.